What's good, y'all? Back with another video. In today's video, I'm gonna be reacting to a short little clip from a guy named Pastor Mark Driscoll. So I'm gonna be leaving his channel and the link to this video in the description. Make sure you guys check him out. He has a lot of good content, a lot of good sermons. I'm gonna start doing more reaction type content for y'all, as well as like video essays. I got some stuff planned for y'all. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, because I'm about to start spamming videos again for y'all. Trust me, I got y'all. Without further ado, let's get right on to it.
Statistically, 60% of churchgoers are women. The majority of in addition, the least likely person to go to church is a young single man. Who needs?
I was just finna say, who needs church the most? That's no disrespect to women and children, but especially today in 2024, it's so much red pill BS going on. It's so much stuff that's tainting our young men specifically. We need church the most. We do, because we're really the leaders of society. How the next 20, 30 years is finna go, it's really on us. And so everybody needs church, everybody needs Jesus, but specifically our young people and our young men specifically, we really need to start going back to church. We really need to start getting back into the word and being more godly young men, the best of our abilities, for sure.
To go to church the most? A young single man.
Facts.
Right? So the question is, well, why are they not in the church? I'll give you a few reasons. Number one, how do I say this? Let me explain it to you culturally. What has happened historically in our nation has affected the church, and that is, in many generations, all the young men left the country to go to war. So you take all the young men out, or many of the young men out. And I pulled it up. At the end of World War II, and I would say that's an example of Satan's sons against God's sons. It's literally a war against good versus evil, which I think explains much of human history.
And ain't that the same stuff that's going on today, right now? Like, I know we're not in World War III, not yet anyway, but isn't there like a spiritual warfare going on, good versus evil? Like, it don't matter what you believe in. You should know, at least right now, with everything that's going on, everything that we see online, we see in the media, on television, just even in the music you listen to, it's like humanity is stuck between good versus evil right now. And so young men in particular, we have to pick a side. And if you don't pick a side, you are picking the wrong side. You feel me? Like, you have to pick a side. You have to make a stand. And you have to actually stand on that. Like, you actually have to walk how you talk. You feel me? Like, it's just like he said, that explains much of human history. Good versus evil explains what's going on right now. It's the good people versus the bad people. Real talk.
What happens in World War II is, at the end of World War II, there were about 140 million Americans. And there were over 12, almost 13 million in active duty military service. That's around 9% of the whole population of America is in the military going to war. So guess what? The young men are gone. They're gone. And what the young men do, they join the military, where, true or false, they get strong male leadership and brotherhood. I mean, have you been in the military? This is what I'm told. Strong male leadership and brotherhood. Meanwhile, back at home, who's left in church? Women and children. Women and children. And we love women and children need to be in church, and we want good for them. But all the strong young men were off at war. So then the women in the church, they decide that they're going to run the church. So all of a sudden the church starts to look like women decorated it. It starts to smell like Women decorated it.
And that's a really good point that he made. Like, this isn't to disrespect or dismiss or underplay the role and the importance of women and children, because as a man, the most important, the most impactful thing you can do in your life is to be a father. And you can't have a child without a woman. So women play a very, very important role, not just in society, but in life. Like, you can't be the best man that you could be without the best woman by your side, right? So that's not to downplay the role or importance of women, but it's just to highlight and to emphasize what has happened to a lot of our young men, especially young men that are growing up with single mothers or single parents that are growing up and they don't have, like he was talking about, the military gives a lot of people, a lot of young men, like strong male leadership and brotherhood. A lot of young guys don't have that. A lot of young boys grow up, they don't have any strong male leadership around them. A lot of young kids grow up and they don't have no man that they can look to and actually respect and admire, want to be like that when they grow up. Whether it's their own dad or grandpa, uncle, a teacher at school, whatever. A lot of that mentorship, that type of brothership and leadership, like he's saying, that is gone. And so what has left is, this video is titled "What World War II Did to the Christian Church in America That Nobody Talks About." But this same concept, it can be applied anywhere. Like what's happened in colleges. If you guys don't know, colleges are majority female now, especially in the black community. Like a black woman is like 3 times more likely to graduate college than a black man. So when all the strong intellectual black men, when all the strong intellectual men, period, are gone out of the universities, what happens to the culture on campus? When all the strong men are out of the workforce, or out of the home, what happens to the culture of that home? What happens to the environment of that job? It shifts more to where the females are leading it. And y'all see what that does. It maybe works fine for women and children, but oftentimes it doesn't click, it doesn't connect with the man. Okay, and that's a big, big problem facing society today. A lot of young men don't really have a spot where they feel like they belong. So that's why they turn to the internet. They hop on YouTube. They see a Fresh and Fit. They see a Red Pill, a Manosphere type, and they feel like that's something that accepts them or understands them and gets them, right? But I'm telling you, as a young man, the number one place you can find acceptance, if you feel misunderstood, if you feel lost, if you don't feel accepted anywhere you go, like you don't have nowhere to go and feel at peace, the number one thing you can do, pick you up a Bible. Pick you up a Bible, y'all. Read about the Lord Jesus Christ. If y'all are looking for an example of a strong man, you can literally have a relationship and be led by and mentored by the strongest man that has ever and will ever live, in the name of Lord Jesus Christ, you guys. So I'm telling y'all, young men, it's imperative that we start getting back into the church, leading our women, leading our children. Because if we don't do it, and if we don't do it with God, don't just get up in your head just because you're a man, you think you're the head of the house. If you're not leading with God, you have to humble yourself before God, y'all. God created Adam and he told Adam, don't eat the fruit. Okay, Adam failed as a man because he let his bride eat the fruit, and then he ate it as well. So as a man, you listen to God, and then you teach your family, you teach your wife, you teach your kids what to do. Don't think just because we're the head of the house that you don't have somebody to answer to, because you do, the almighty, true and living God. But men in particular need to get back in the church. We need to get back in the word to lead ourselves, to lead our families, to lead our children into brighter days, into more prosperous times. That type of leadership, that type of revival is the only way that we're going to survive in times like these, y'all. It's the only way.
Since there's no men, all the programming is for the women and children who do need love and service. And so they hire a guy who's older, he's not off to war, he's retired, He's kind of like a really kind-hearted grandpa who's going to love the women and the children. So the church works for women and children. Now they need to find a guy to lead worship. This is where it gets offensive. And all the men, the strong men, are off at war. So we'll find a really nice guy, and he can lead the worship. So the least masculine guy leads the worship. Not criticizing, I'm just observing. Skinny jeans, deep V-neck, frosted tips, unemployed, profoundly emotional, not a voice quite like mine, okay? So in the Old Testament, the worship leader was a guy named David, who also was good at killing people, okay? It's not that guy, okay?
Not that guy.
We have a nice older guy as the grandpa, and then his confused grandson leading worship, emotionally connects with all the women and children. The men come back from war. They show up at church. Huh?
And that has been what's happening in today's society as well. Obviously, we're not after World War II, World War III type battles yet. Lord knows what's going to happen in this century, what's going to happen in Ukraine and Israel and all that type of stuff. I'm not here to speak on that in this video. But a lot of men are coming back, not the more feminine men like he was saying here that stayed and got left behind that can deal with the women and the children. A lot of more masculine men are coming back to this world, are looking at society, they're looking at the church, they're looking at their jobs, they're looking at social media, they're looking at the culture that we live in, okay, the country that we live in, and they're looking around like, what? Like, what happened? What happened to the way that it used to be? What happened to the world that we know, right? What happened to stuff being right? Like, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. What happened to certain ideas that we used to hold dear in our hearts in this culture? And that exact type of thing, what he's talking about, is still happening today. It's not just in the church. It's not just in the church that women, and like I said, this ain't to downplay women or anything, but when they have taken over stuff and started running stuff, it works for women and children a lot better than it works for a lot of men. So a lot of men are looking at stuff like, what happened? How do we fix this? What can I do to fix this? Like, we're not where we're supposed to be, okay? And it's a very big disconnect going on right now in the culture between men and women. And like I said, you guys, in my opinion, it's really like a bigger agenda. They don't want men and women to get along, okay? And like I said, as a man, there's nothing that you could do more important, more impactful. I don't care how much money you got $1 million, 1 million subscribers, what type of car you drive, what watch you got. None of that stuff matters more than being a father. And any man worth his salt would tell you that, right? So as a man, you can't achieve the highest pinnacle of being a man without a woman. Same thing for a woman. The best thing a woman could be is a mother. So this whole culture wars, men versus women, they're trying to take fatherhood away from us. They're trying to take motherhood away from women. And ultimately, the kids are the worst off. The kids really get the short end of the stick because they don't grow up with mom and dad. They're growing up with either one mom or they're growing up with a single dad. Some of them are growing up with two moms, two dads, right? And that type of culture is becoming more accepted. So the kids really get the worst end of the stick, you guys. But they don't want a strong family. They don't want men and women to get along and actually do their best as a father, do their best as a mother, and raise the best possible child, the best possible future generation. They don't want that. So on social media, on the television, on the media, you guys, it's sort of like a culture war. They're trying to make it men versus women, but the reality is it's never been men versus women. It's always been men plus women plus God together to create life, to create the new generation. So I don't care what nobody says, you guys. If you're a young man, you need a young woman. If you're a young woman, you need a young man. if you're older, men and women need each other. That's just the cold hard truth. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's always gonna be. So don't get caught up in the red pill, in the feminism, in the social media, the social justice stuff. Don't get caught up in that. We're not fighting each other. They're trying to make us fight each other, but in reality our goals are really aligned. So especially for young men, don't get that twisted. Don't think that all women are bad. Women, don't think that all men are bad. We really have the same goals in mind. It's just they've clouded our vision to where we're seeing two sides of the same coin, right?
I'm not going to listen to that guy. And I can't sing with that guy. Like, I can't get in that octave unless I have an injury. Like, I can't. I would need to not wear a cup to hockey night, and then I could sing with that guy. So the men walk in, they're like, this feels like a feminine environment. It sounds like a feminine environment. It seems like it's for women and children. And the men left the church, and they never came back. They never came back. And here's the big idea. True or false, women feel comfortable in a masculine environment if it's not angry and aggressive. Can you take your girlfriend to a sports bar? Yeah. Do men feel comfortable, healthy, normal men? We now got to say that today. Healthy, normal, heterosexual men, do they feel comfortable in a profoundly feminine environment? No. I've never seen a guy, he's like, yeah, I can't wait to go get my nails done. And if you're that guy, you need to be honest because you need help immediately. So women will go to a nail salon, but men won't go. Women will go to a sports bar. And so what we did, we created an environment that works for all the women and repels all the men. So here's why you're here. God is a father. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. To be a true man is to be like Jesus, tough and tender, lion and lamb, worshiping the Father with daily decisions, sacrifices, and service, as well as singing and songs. And I want to honor you men for being here. And this is the whole reason we do this ministry. We're trying to create an environment where men can learn what it means to be sons of God and worship to become like their Father.
Howdy, Pastor Mark here. Thanks for...
So make sure you guys like this video. I'm going to be leaving Pastor Mark Driscoll's channel and that video in particular in the description of this video. That was part of a series called Think or Act Like a Man, right? So he has a whole series about what it means to be a man, what it means to be a father, what it means to be a son of God, right? So if you guys want me to react more from that series, make sure you guys go comment down below. Comment down below your thoughts on this video. What resonated with you? Did I miss something? Did he miss something? Is there something missing out, in between the lines? Go comment down below. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, you guys, because I'm finna start spamming videos for y'all. I'm about to be spamming. You heard me? I'm spamming videos for y'all. So make sure you guys like, subscribe. And other than that, hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Peace.